Hello friends, Bill Hobson here, and every once in a while we have a unique opportunity to share with you a story about a golf destination that's a little bit different. And today is one of those examples as we bring together the elements of family, faith, and fairways to tell you the story of a place called Pilgrims Run, about 30 minutes north of Grand Rapids. So with your indulgence, I would like to entice you to stick around for a very special edition of our program straight ahead.
Welcome to Michigan Golf Live Television, shining the spotlight on the best places to play, stay, and celebrate the greatest game on earth. Stay connected to Michigan Golf Live 24/7 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. And subscribe for free to our weekly FORE Golfers Network podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere podcasts are found. Here's your host for MGL TV, Bill Hobson.
Hello friends, and welcome into the show. I'm Bill Hobson. It is great to have you with us for the program today, and I can't think of a more appropriate place to start than at the starter house as we shine the spotlight on a really special golf course called Pilgrims Run. It's located about 30 minutes north of Grand Rapids in some beautiful country with terrain that you would not expect in lower Michigan. But the name Pilgrims Run has such a special connection to it of family and faith as it weaves its way through these fairways, all connected to an historic book of faith called Pilgrim's Progress. As you can tell, we've got a whole lot to dig into in the moments ahead, so stick around as we officially introduce you to and extend the invitation to play at Pilgrims Run.
You know, I think the essence of the course here at Pilgrims Run, all the way back from when we designed it, the goal of Pilgrims Run was to be a place where we could enjoy, the public could come and enjoy, but it could be a place not just about golf, but also about our faith. If you had ever met Bob Van Kampen, it didn't take you very long to be in a conversation with him where the conversation, if it started at business or golf or whatever, it would turn to his faith in Jesus Christ. And so that was kind of the idea when we built this place. It wasn't the intent, it was just a natural byproduct of kind of the family's values and what it stands for.
And one of the most widely read books of all time becomes the inspiration for naming many of the holes out here. How did that happen?
I think it was Bob's brainchild, but Chris Shoemaker, who was involved early on in the design with Mike DeVries, it was kind of his project to name each hole after a trial or a circumstance in the main character Christian in Pilgrim's Run in his life. So it's just kind of that picture of, hey, golf in a lot of ways reflects on life. And I raised my kids here, and even as my kids were growing up, you can teach a lot of life lessons as you go through a round of golf. And I think just being able to say, okay, each of these holes is designed to be another picture of a time in someone's life, I think that was kind of the intent and how a Christian kind of meanders and navigates his way through life. When
you come to tee it up at Pilgrims Run, you will most likely encounter the director of golf, Michael Ray, who knows this place inside and out. And it's so special here. Even from the moment you pull in the main entrance, you know that you're in a unique place. What is Pilgrims Run to you?
Yeah, I think it is that unique, special place. It starts when you book the tee time with us, and as you're getting closer to the area, the anticipation draws, and then you pull in the gate, and it's just an incredible, welcoming feeling. It's peaceful when you walk in or drive through the gate. It's just one of those special places that people need to come and experience for themselves to see what it's really about.
We have a lot of people watching this conversation who've never played here, and they're kind of wondering what to expect when they come in. How do you describe just the playing experience?
It's one of the top golf courses in the state of Michigan. We are generous fairways. We are bent grass throughout. It's a good challenge. It's a lot of fun to play.
You have the name of Mike DeVries attached to this property, who came in to lend some extra creative flair to holes that were largely designed by a group of 6 family members, right?
Right. A crazy story. Mr. Van Kampen had this vision, and he got 6 of his business partners together. They drew numbers out of a hat, and that's what stuck. Those 6 players got to design 3 holes out here. And then Mike came in and did the finishing touches with some bunkers and some greens, and what came about is something just purely magical.
It is an absolutely picture-perfect Pure Michigan day as we head to the first tee here at Pilgrim's Run to take you on a tour of this beautiful place. And unlike most of our programs, today I've got some playing partners, 3 of them to be exact. So let me introduce you to the group so you know who you'll be seeing and hearing from. Up first here on the left, Michael Ray, the director of golf and all things that are related to hitting the ball in exactly the right spot at every given moment. It's a high bar to clear. David Wisson is part of the family that carved this place out, has the vision for the faith and family component, and we'll hear from David again a little bit later on. And Ken Hunt, superintendent extraordinaire, been here since day one, is currently playing with us in work boots. Let's have fun, guys. As you and I walk through the playing experience, we can't do that without also including the inspiration that's connected to this book called The Pilgrim's Progress. Each hole is named after a different theme in the book. We'll get into those in the moments ahead, but right from the start, take us to number 1 tee and give us some playing advice on how to best conquer that starting par 5.
The key thing on hole number 1 is to stay short of the bunkers on the left and right. And then your second shot is a layup shot. That's got to be far out to the left side so you have an angle in. We have 2 menacing pines that block the right side, and it's very important to stay left so you do have a shot for your third to have any chance at birdie.
Those trees are real.
They're real. They're tall. They ain't getting any shorter.
The second hole was designed by one of your current owners who's part of our playing group, and it's called Difficulty. And to drive home the connection between the hole and the book, let me read the actual description from Pilgrim's Progress and how it connects into the hole. The main character in the book is named Christian. In Christian's journey, he needed to stay on the straight and narrow way. On this course, he came to a steep hill called Difficulty. At the foot of the hill were 2 roads he could take, one to the right and one to the left, danger and destruction. On this hole, if the pin is on the left, the way to a par is certainly difficult. So it connects directly into the strategy.
It is so true that you need to follow the guidelines that were laid out. You need to play it to the right-hand side, no doubt. It brings left into trouble, brings the water into trouble on the left-hand side. So playing it to the right, be safe on it for sure.
My favorite name of any golf hole on the planet is number 3, the Slough of Despond. Again from the book. Early in Christian's pilgrimage, he fell into a bog called the Slough of Despond. A man named Help pulled him out and explained that the marsh is the low ground where the scum and filth of a guilty conscience caused by conviction of sin continually gather. As sinners are awakened to see their vile condition, they arise in their souls many doubts and fears and discouraging apprehensions, all of which merge and settle in this place. I can honestly say I've never used that as a hole description before in my life. If you ended up in the marsh on this hole, you may find yourself mired in the filth of a double bogey.
100%. You got to stay out to the right, and that brings the bunkers into play. It's a well-designed, well-creative hole there on that one.
Number 4 is called Deception. Take us tee to green.
So Deception is exactly that. It is a false front that's about a 20-foot drop-off. If you hit anything short, you're going down into the valley there. So you got to play an extra club, make sure you get it up on top of that hill on the top of the green.
How about the 5th hole, Sleepy Temptation?
So it plays a little longer than what it actually is. Brings in a little trouble into play if you hit it short again because of that false front. So you have to club up and hit it hard and get it back to the back pin.
I love number 6. It's titled Vainglory. Let me read an excerpt from the inspiration. Early in his journey, Christian was joined by 2 men named Formality and Hypocrisy. Both of these men were from the town of Vainglory, and it appears on that tee box that the shortest way to the green might be to the right of the bunker or directly over it, but there is some danger in that plan. How would you recommend playing number 6?
That fairway is actually 84 yards wide, and that bunker comes right into the landing area, so I feel to stay left gives you a better shot at it. If you do go right, you risk bringing the trees into play, and also if you don't go far enough right, you hit that bunker. So left is definitely the play on that one to have a chance at setting up for eagle.
We tell the story from a perspective of family and faith connecting into the fairways here. What does all that mean to you?
It goes back to the influence of my father-in-law, Mr. Van Campen. Bob, as I knew him, was a man of faith, man who loved the Word of God, man who loved athletics, enjoyed recreation. He really didn't golf a ton, but it was something he was thinking this would be exciting for the next generation.
We talk about the beauty of the course, and we often give all the credit to Mike DeVries, but that would not do justice to those 6 partners that each got to exercise their creativity. You have 3 holes here that you personally helped to shape, number 7, number 8, and you and I are talking out here on the beautiful 16th. Do you remember what it was like when you first saw the drawing come to life?
It was quite an adventure, and first of all, Mike is phenomenal, and without Mike, this place would not be what it is today, obviously. He came in and did an unbelievable job, but our involvement was, from the day one, just from the get-go, looking at the routing, the overhead shot of what, the course might look like. This was all forest. What we had to do is we had to first go through and cut out an interior area, and then I can remember walking the various routing areas, and we would have flags around and colored, paper around certain trees, and we'd say, okay, this is this hole and this is how you're going to envision it. And then to see it all kind of come to fruition after all of that, and then to see Mike and all his team in here, shaping and molding the greens around there, all these things that was just on paper for us days earlier or weeks earlier, months earlier, whatever it was. That's just an exciting project to be involved in and to see from the ground up.
It just occurred to me that like an effective sermon, many of the key themes here at Pilgrim's Run could have multiple applications. For instance, I've been to a number of buffets where they've also described me as bottomless pit. We'll show you the golf version of this when we continue after this from Pilgrim's Run in Pierson, Michigan. Welcome back into the show as we continue our visit to Pilgrim's Run just north of Grand Rapids. And for all of you who have ever had trouble putting the little white ball in the hole, you might want to try the beanbag version because that's got its own challenge. I think one of the best ways to tell the story of a really special golf property is by visiting with somebody who's here all the time. So I'd like to introduce you to Pilgrim's Run Ambassador Steve Grimm. We're talking about the theme of family and faith and fairways here because it does all tie together, the Pilgrim's Run. What does that aspect of it mean to you, and how does it come through?
They treat you like you're important. They treat you like they're happy to have you here, and they maintain this place. They keep it in nice shape no matter what, and I think they just want to present a nice golf course to the people. It's an eminently playable golf course. The fairways are generous. If you're playing the right tees, you should have a good time out here. And you're in nature, you're away from houses, you're away from people. The holes you don't even say hi to the people in the next fairway because you can't see them. So it's a great place to come and decompress and then just enjoy your game.
Number 7 is called Bottomless Pit, a very fitting title for that par 3.
Very much so. A lot of carry on that one. Marsh on the left-hand side. That's where that pit is stationed. And again, need an extra club to get back there on that green.
I think we all hit what we thought was plenty of club, and we all came up at least a club and a half short.
I think we were all in that bottomless pit.
And then we'll jump ahead to number 9, House Beautiful.
Yeah.
Close out the front 9 for us, tee to green.
It's a great finishing hole. It's got the clubhouse in sight as you come to the green there. And so therefore the name House Beautiful as you get that clubhouse view. It is again an elevated green. It's the hardest green to hit, I think, on the front 9. Everything kind of slopes away, so it's a hard green to hit. But again, you're right there at House Beauty.
When we make the turn and we step onto the 10th tee, we see the name Wicked Gate. I've got to read the inspiration for this. At the beginning of the story, Christian knows he needs to leave the city of destruction, but does not know where he can go to avoid the wrath to come upon him and his city. On this hole, the key to a good score is to place your tee shot between the trees of our Wicked Gate. Those trees are strategically placed.
It is a great short par 4 with trees on the right, the Wicked Gate, and the bunkers on the left. If you want to dare and bring driver out and have some fun, it's a very good risk-reward type hole. The smart play is to hit a hybrid off there and play it short so you can leave yourself with a full wedge in, avoiding the trees on that right-hand side.
Number 11, what a name, Giant Despair. What is Giant Despair all about?
It is our longest hole on the golf course, probably next to 13. It is all you can handle par 5. 3 full shots to get you. Your driver, 3-wood, and then you're wedging it in yet to the green. Nothing but length on the hole.
When you tell the story of a place like Pilgrim's Run, it really helps to be able to go all the way back to the very beginning when this was all just forest. Ken Hunt has been living on machines like this ever since. So what do you remember about those early days?
Just the first time I came to the golf course, and there was no golf course here. It was solid woods. It was just, you know, trying to dream up what it was going to look like in the future, and to get it to the point that it is today. I mean, it's a great experience.
It's in such pristine condition. I know that takes a lot of work. It takes a really good team. But how do you describe this course to people who've never been here?
With no homes on the golf course, it's a fun experience, you know, relaxing, wildlife everywhere. People, I think, can come out here and just enjoy nature.
How different is the course in this season than it was when it first opened way back in the late 90s?
Just the maturity of it. You know, trees that we transplanted that were, you know, only 3 inches round are now, you know, a couple feet, and just the feel of the golf course is changing all the time with the woods and everything. So it's, you know, in maturity level, just the turf is thickened up, it's mature, it's just a great experience.
We've got more golf straight ahead as we continue our time here at Pilgrim's Run, but before we head back to the course, I thought I'd do a little shopping. Need to pick up some logo gear for myself.
Is there anything I can help you with today, sir?
Yeah, I'm thinking about a t-shirt for myself, probably medium, maybe a small.
A medium, really? I'm thinking something with an X, maybe a double X.
All right, well, I have to defer to the experts. We'll figure it out, and we'll be back with more from Pilgrim's Run after this. Welcome back into the show as we continue our time at beautiful Pilgrim's Run in Pierson, Michigan, just north of Grand Rapids. The inspiration for this golf course is connected to the book called The Pilgrim's Progress, written by John Bunyan, and I am holding in my hands a copy that literally dates back to 1869. So I'll be very careful with this, and you'll be pleased to know that our next guest doesn't date back quite as far as this book. But nobody has spent more time here and has a deeper passion for all things Pilgrim's Run than the former head golf professional, Jeff O'Malley. What do you remember back to day one, ribbon cutting day?
Oh wow, that'd be back in '98. I came on board July 1st, and we were working out of the maintenance building. We had 9 holes open at that time, and the 24th rolled around that month. We opened up all 18 holes at that time. So it was pretty exciting, working out of a maintenance building with just a cash drawer, no tee times, anything like that. So it was quite an interesting opening at that time. And tee times were 15 minutes apart with 9 holes, so they could swing them back around. So we opened up all 18 and been well received.
Since the beginning, that family and faith component has been part of the fabric of Pilgrim's Run. How was that introduced? How was that communicated to you that you then passed on to your guests?
Well, the Van Kampen is a strong Christian family. They're great to work for, and with the Pilgrim's Progress was the book that we came from, and then they named each hole out there from the book to kind of give it that. And we opened up the first couple of years without alcohol too, and we opened up noon on Sundays to allow everybody to go to church on Sundays, all the staff. In the beginning, it kind of went that route. It was great.
How good is this product from a golf perspective? What did Mike DeVries do here?
Mike came in, Chris Shoemaker did a lot of the work, and Mike came in, he did the bunkering in the greens on the undulation. He always likes that flow, that natural flowing of the greens, and the bunkering, very sculptured and very challenging from there. But the greens here are very challenging. The course is laid out very nice, very playable from depending on the tee, or you can go back and make it very, very challenging.
You have a couple decades of hearing first-time guests at the end of their round at Pilgrim's Run. What would you hear from them?
very surprised to be this far out and to have a golf course like this. As you know, it was designed by, 6 trust employees, designed 3 holes, and you think of that done by committee, and it makes it very challenging. But when they get out here, they go, wow, what a great job they did. And the layout, but they really enjoyed the layout, the quietness of being out here with no side-by-side holes. It's just so peaceful. Just a great round. If you get slowed down, it'll probably be the deer going across or the turkeys. So otherwise, that's just a beautiful experience out here.
We go to number 13, which is titled Dark Valley. That's foreboding, one would think.
Yeah.
What's the challenge on Dark Valley?
Well, Dark Valley, when it originated, there was a lot more trees on the left-hand side. When we were set to open in 1998, we had a terrible storm come through here and wipe out the trees on the left-hand side. And so what's left is still the valley is down below. A lot of the toughness of that hole went away with that storm. And so it opened up that tee shot a little bit, but then you got the length going into it, elevated green on that one as well. So probably plays the longest hole of any hole out here for sure. It's like 545, and it's all carry uphill.
Number 15 is High Mountain.
It's probably one of the best holes on the golf course. It's a short par 3, elevated green with both sides are fall off. So you have to be exact on what you're doing with your iron play.
Michael, you stand on the tee box of 16 and you are immediately captured by the beauty of this hole. But it's also labeled the Valley of Humility because it's got some teeth to it, right? How do we play 16?
16, we're still trying to figure it out. We played with Mr. Wissend today, and he's been part of this for 25 years and still can't figure out how to play it exactly. So my play today was 3-wood just to the left of the water, keeping it out of the bunkers on the left, and keeping it short of the water hazard there in front of you. And then you got a 200-yard shot yet to go into the green. So it's all of that for a hole. A lot of carry over the pond if you stay on that right-hand side.
Number 17, called Narrow Way. The inspiration says, after entering the wicket gate, Christian, our main character, is shown that the road he must take to the celestial way is the narrow way, and it was traveled by the patriarchs, prophets, and by Christ and his apostles. The tree line tells you which way to go on this hole, but know that there are bunkers that make this way even narrower.
It's probably our tightest hole on the golf course. Another short par 4 that's well designed, tree line both sides. It is a tough hole if you sprayed a little bit to either side. It is meant to be down the middle for sure.
There probably has never been a more appropriately named hole than the finishing, number 18, Entice.
Yes.
What's the decision here on the tee box?
A lot of it depends on what the wind's doing. A lot of it depends on what your score is and whether you are in the match. It is 275 to the green, so you can go at it if you can carry it 275. If you're 274, you're going to be running backwards about 40 yards down the fairway and left with a really tricky shot coming back up the hill there. The real play, if you're in charge of the match, is to go to the left-hand side, aim it left of the bunkers. You have about 110 yards into this shot for a full swing, and it plays it a lot easier that way. But again, it's Entice. You didn't come here to lay up. You got to go.
Is it safe to say there might be a couple sleeves of balls in that pond?
It's unbelievable how many balls we pulled out of there the last couple of years. But that's, again, the beauty of the hole.
Well, that's the beauty of the course. Everywhere you look, each hole has its own characteristic, its own personality. What the original designers did along with Mike DeVries, I think is incredible here, and it truly is one of the great courses, not just in the state of Michigan, but I really believe anywhere in the country.
When people hear the whole story of what we are and who we're about, it just gets people into a different mindset when they come here and play, and it's relaxing, it's comfortable to play. And I think when people leave here, just on how we're setting this whole thing up, they come here relaxed and then leave just enjoyed with the fact that they played a great track.
It's a very special place.
I've been a part of the golf business for 20 years. I've never been a part of anything better than this one. This is, from the ownership to the staff that we have, the love that we have for each other here at this place, there's nothing better.
What sets Pilgrim's Run apart?
We're spread over a lot of acres, so each hole somewhat gets isolated, And then again, when you have 6 designers all trying to make their mark, if you go back and look at the early paperwork on this, there was a competition between the 6 designers. So everybody was trying to make signature holes, and then you had one guy that was trying to hold it together and bring continuity to it. And I think for that reason, each hole was kind of, there's no just from here to there holes. Everybody was trying to design a special hole wherever they were, and I think that's made it special. For sure, this is one of our favorite places on earth.
It was about 30 minutes ago we began this program on the tee box of number 18 here at Pilgrim's Run, the hole called Entice. So I can't think of a more fitting way to round out our time together, because now you have been able to see how this combination of family and faith weaves its way through some fantastic, beautiful fairways. And now the invitation is yours to come and play this wonderful place. Pilgrimsrun.com is the website. A few minutes north of Grand Rapids is the place. You're not going to find a more beautiful property anywhere in your travels. We'll see you next time when you stop here at Pilgrim's Run.